All right. So, thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to get started. We're going to have a great class today. We're going to set our minds to it, right? First thing we want to do to start is get comfy in our seats, make any final adjustments. Try to sit up straight. So, make sure that your vertebrae or your back is really aligned. Think about each bone inside of your spine stacked all the way up to the lowest part of the neck body. Start to feel the feet in a way where you're aware that they exist. Maybe connect to the floor. You know, place them up, place them down, the toes, kind of web the feet, press them down. You know they're alive, you know they're active. We want to make sure too that our legs are about hips width apart. Speaking of feet, so we take our two fists, press them together, and hug the inner arches, this inside of our knees, around the two fists. Okay, and just so you know, this is what my two fists look like. So the knuckles are facing forward. All right, super important. All right, and when you look down, you want to make sure you see like a capital H. So your feet are pressed parallel to one another, and it's a capital H. So your legs are hips width apart. All right. And then we want to also just become aware of our hands and our shoulders. So find a place to put your hands for the next few moments as we ground into this present moment awareness as we begin to prepare for class. And then our next step is we just want to close the eyes or fix our gaze in front of us. And give your body permission to relax. The way you do that is by really having to just tell yourself, hey, relax. And then utilize this exhale and inhale to help you to stabilize your pace. Slowing down the breath, slowing down the thoughts. Maybe we can take our hands and place them on our belly. And when you breathe in, feel the belly expand. And on the exhale, navel touches the spine. Inhale, belly expands. Exhale, navel touches the spine. And this is where on the exhale, you can give yourself more permission to relax, maybe even feeling your shoulder blades fall down your back body. The weight in your arms gets heavy. Weight falls down from the top body to the seat, and then from the thighs down the knees into the feet. We can also steady our breath and find our rhythm. Let's do a few collective breaths together to help us get started. On your next exhale, let all the stale air leave the body. And then on the inhale, breathe in. And exhale, breathe out. Inhale and breathe in. And exhale and breathe out. Next one, let's add a count to it. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And exhale, breathe out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. And for the next 10 breath cycles, full breath cycles, I want you to follow it in your mind, watching the breath come in, watching and feeling the body. And then on the exhale, releasing the breath, and the body releasing the breath. Find your own rhythm and your pace. Maybe find a count that works best for you. Because you're going to refer back to this in your practice as we start to add movement to our bodies. Two more breaths. And last one. Continue to keep your rhythm as we start to open our eyes if they were closed. All right. We are going to begin at the feet just to liven the feet up a little bit, keeping that same breath. You can take the heels, lift them up, but keep the toes on the ground. Squeeze the glutes and the thighs. The glutes is that area right where your sits bone is connected to the seat, and your thighs where your hamstrings are, and the inner leg, the outer leg. And then on the exhale, I want you to slowly drop the heels down to the ground. Inhale, lift up, squeeze those thighs. And on the exhale, as you drop those heels down to the ground, also loosen the muscle in the thigh body. So you go through this period of squeezing the legs, squeezing the thighs to help you lift them up. And then maybe even the belly is part of that. And then on the exhale, you gently place the heels on the ground in a way that you're not just letting them thump. You got some control. And then we're going to pull back. We're going to just roll back a little bit, but keep our heels on the ground, but our toes lift up. Toes are like, hello, how are you today? You can look down at your toes and say, I am fine. So inhale, breathe in, and then on the exhale, let the feet come back down to the ground. Then roll back and back down to the ground, inhaling and exhaling. Good job, good job. Hold on to your chair, and I want you to just lift up your right foot, soften, keep the knee soft, okay? So keep the knee soft, lift up on that right foot. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move this way just so you can see me. All right, see the knee is not like pressing against the wall. It starts out nice and bent, and then I start to press forward. And then bring the foot back down to the ground. Inhale, breathe in, squeeze that thigh, and then press out the foot in front of you and just hold it there for a second. Keep the knee soft at first and then press into that straight leg. If you find that it's really hard, you can hold up your thigh. It's okay. But try to get to that point where you can just hold it up. And then you can hold on to the chair and you can just keep the leg up. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, press forward. And then breathe in and out. Exhale, stabilize. And then exhale, lower down, lift up. Now, if your foot looks like this and you want to modify and just stretch your leg out and keep the heel down, you can do that as well. So modify if you need to, but you want to finally get up to that place. Back down. Let's do the last one. I hope that you're finding your path, right? Because there are different things you can do to modify. Squeeze that belly, help you to lift up, maybe sit up a little bit taller in that seat. Inhaling and exhaling. This is like if we were on the mat, we would be stretching out our legs, preparing for that practice. We're doing the same thing here. And we're pressing the foot back down on the ground. Beautiful. All right. Good work. We're going to begin to just do a few rolls. Open up the legs a little bit and just kind of roll around. You're going to be rolling around that lower back body where the sacrum is. It's really important to kind of loosen this area up. We want to do a little bit of focus because your sciatic nerve is there, or your sciatic nerve is there. This is also a place where if you're squeezing the belly, that helps you to build a little bit of ab strength. All right. You don't want to have any fatigue in this part of your back body. When we stand up, we'll do some glute work that will help us to get stronger, to prevent injury in our knees and other places. That's what we want to do. We want to keep that lower part of the body loose, where that sacrum is, where that nerve is. Awesome. We're going to start to just move up. Remember, we're just warming up the body. Sit up nice and straight. Take the arms, allow them to rise up, lift up, reach up overhead, look up, gaze up, mountain pose. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and just stay here for a moment. Just like we were stretching out the legs, we're just stretching out the arms. You can look up if you want, but you don't have to. And just breathe. Feel the full length of your hands all the way to your feet. Make sure you're completely active and awake during this part of the practice. Try to just focus on the breath, nothing else, and the body right here, right now. Gently, we're going to lower our hands down slowly. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring them all the way down next to you. And then bring the hands behind you. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Sit up a little bit straighter in your seat. Pull the hands down so that it's coming down to the seat of the chair. You're just pulling your ears up and then your shoulders away from your ears. So you're getting a little bit of space there. If that's too much for you, you can just hold on. Bring your hands to your sacrum and just hold them there. All right, I'm going to come back. You know, unloosen those arms. Let's come back up again. Arms rise, mountain pose. Stay there for a moment. Make sure those feet are hips width apart. We're going to take our right hand. We're going to lift it up. Our left hand is going to come down just a little bit. And then our left hand is going to come up and our right hand is going to come down. And do this about 4 times. Breathing in and out. You're almost lifting up out of the pelvic bowl, stretching the rib cage, stretching the shoulders, stretching the arms. So you're doing a lot of great stretching here. All right. And then we're going to bring the hands down by the side slowly. I know you want to just drop them, but steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Beautiful. And then shake that out. Kind of spinning backwards and forwards. Let's bring our arms back up once again, mountain pose. This time you're going to take your right fingertips, wiggle the right fingertips, and drop that hand down the back, okay? So your left hand then goes on top of the elbow, and you can push your elbow as much as you like so that it comes a little bit closer towards your head. So if you feel like you're really stiff, just don't put as much pressure. Inhale and exhale. Breathe in and out. Hands rise up, lift up. You're going to do the other side now. Bring the left hand down the back body. Take the right fingertips, press that elbow down. And just breathe. You're going to feel a nice stretch on the tricep, that inner part of your arm. You might even feel a little bit in your rib cage, a little bit in your chest and your belly. Arms rise back up, mountain pose, and gently come back down by the sides. We're going to take our left shoulder, lift it up by our ear, and then roll it back, and then our right, and roll it back. Just be gentle. You don't have to be rigid here. In fact, open up your arms and open up your hands and try to be as fluid as possible. If you're gripping your hands and you're tense, you want to keep those fingertips open, rolling those shoulders back one at a time. And then we're going to come forward, breathing in and out. All right. And now let's do them both together. Shoulders up towards the ears at the same time. And then down they go, just like our shoulders are in harmony right now. They're hitting the same musical note. And then let's go back forward. There we go. All right. Bring your hands to your thighs. Drop your chin to your chest. And we're just going to stay here for a moment. We're going to come into some neck stretches, but we're going to take it easy to start just by bringing our chin to the chest. And while you're here, just do a little check-in. Notice how your shoulders feel. Notice if there's any tension in your neck or your shoulder body. See if you can relax the arms a little bit more, and if that gives you any relief. And then we're going to rotate our right ear towards our right shoulder. Now, if we're leaning over like this, we want to come up into that nice square position with the front of the room so that our bodies are completely supported by the chair. Only our neck rotates over and tilts towards the right shoulder. Breathe in and out. Drop the chin back down to the chest. Left ear to the left shoulder. And while you're doing this, just keep giving yourself permission to relax. See if you can let go a little bit more. It's all part of your yoga practice. If you start to find peace in the pose, continue to expand on that. But just stay active and present with each breath. Try not to check out on autopilot. We're going to drop our chin back down to the center chest. We're going to bring our chest forward. Belly starts to press towards the thighs. Hands are still on the thighs, but now we're going to just do a little curvature on the upper back body. Look up, gaze up. This is our cow pose. And then we're going to reverse back, dome shaping that back body. When I say that, now the back is protruding out towards the chair, chin into the chest. And this is our cat pose. Think of a scared little kitty cat. Wherever mine is, I don't know. But when she comes here, she'll be a good reminder. And then we come up, look up. We're going to start to turn this into 2 breaths for 1 movement. Your inhale, your exhale, and then reverse. And this is also really good for your spine. You want to be able to, have some flexibility with your back and your spine body. It's really important for your health. But don't overdo it. Don't overextend. Even if you're just doing these tiny little pops, that's okay as well. Nothing to do and nowhere to go but to be in the pose. The last one. And come back to center. All right. All right. We're going to shake that out. We're going to prepare to go into a flow. All right. First flow of the class. Arms are up, reach up overhead, roll the shoulders away from the ears, mountain pose. Breathe in, and on the exhale, belly presses towards the thighs. Let the hands drop over the legs, chin to the chest, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, squeeze the core, press your feet into the ground and lift up, mountain pose. All right, and then hands come down by the sides. We're going to go and come from mountain pose, and we're just going to go right into a forward fold, and we're going to stay there for a second. So in mountain pose, breathe in, and then on the exhale, come down, and we're going to pause in our forward fold for a second and just breathe. Your fingertips can be on the ground if you like. You can keep them here like this, or you can just drop the arms and let the hands hang heavy. Your choice. And this is a really important pose in our practice. So we want to just sit here for a second. Breathe in and breathe out. One more breath. And then on the next inhale, press your feet into the ground a little bit more. Lift up, reach up, arms rise up, mountain pose. And stay there for a moment. Lifting up out of the pelvic bowl, being completely active. And then hands come down by the side. All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, bring the hands out in front of you. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. So roll them away so you got some space. All right, take your right fingertips, wiggle the right fingertips, place it on top of the on the left shoulder. Left fingertips, wave hello, and they come underneath. Keep the elbows out. Okay, so elbows are out. They're not down like this. They're up and they're out, and look down into that little triangle hole. So you should be looking down to your legs through that hole. Beautiful. You guys are amazing. You got it. We're just going to stay here for a second. And then we're going to slowly back bend through our upper part of our body. Elbows come up towards the ceiling, but our chin stays tucked into our chest. And then we're going to start to come down, pressing the belly towards the thighs, letting the elbows hang over our legs, keeping our hands wrapped on and hugging our shoulders, chin to the chest. 2 breaths, 2 full breath cycles. So 2 breaths is not 2 seconds. It's 2 real full breath cycles based on the rhythm of your own breath. We're going to press our feet into the ground, lift up, squeezing that core, but we're going to go all the way up with our elbows to the sky, chin to the chest, back bend slightly. Thinking of that cow pose, thinking of how that worked, the fundamentals of that cow pose, bringing that here into the practice. And then coming back to center and undoing the arms, unwinding them, and then just letting them flutter like a beautiful butterfly. Yeah, there we go. All right, bring the hands down by the side. And just feel the difference between your left and your right. Arms come back up. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Wiggle the left fingertips. Bring the left hand on top of the right shoulder. Right hand comes underneath. Take those fingertips. You're going to hug yourself. Press out your elbows. All right, there we go. We're getting started once again. Bring the chin into the chest. So we want to get ourselves positioned and prepared. Then we're going to back bend slightly, bringing those elbows up towards the ceiling, keeping the chin into the chest. And just breathe. No reason to rush. On your next exhale, slow and steady, bring your belly towards the thighs. Let your elbows hang over the knees, chin to the chest. Yep, keep your chin to the chest. There we go. Beautiful. Slowly, we're going to come back up. And we're going to lift up, bring the elbows all the way back up, going back into that back bend slightly, right? That cow pose. See, we've been preparing ourselves to be able to get the most out of this part of the practice. And we come back to center. Pause there for a moment. Really feel what it's like to hug yourself. Really feel your fingers on your shoulder blades. Notice what that touch is. And see if you can say, I love myself. I love you. Keep that love throughout this practice as you honor yourself and your body moment by moment, knowing that if you love yourself, you're only going to do things that support yourself in your best interest. So please keep that in mind. Unwind the arms and go through your butterfly. Think about your butterfly transforming that part of your practice too. You know, what do butterflies do? They start out as caterpillars and then they morph into something that can fly. All right. So allow yourself to fly in this practice in that sense with love and honor into your body and your mind and your emotion. So if you get frustrated at any point, just try to think of the fact that you just came to class and you arrived and you're here. And that's enough. And that's awesome. All right, arms rise, reach up overhead, look up, gaze up, exhale, forward fold. Stay down in your forward fold, and I want you to open up your legs. All right, so this is good. We want to open up the legs. Our fingertips are on the ground. We're looking up, head is up. All right. Stretching out the inside of our thighs is super important. Maybe take your left leg and just lift up the heel, kind of wiggle it back and forth, and then do the same thing on the right. Lift it back and forth. All right, take our elbows. We're going to press our elbows into the sides of our knees and press our hands together so that they're in a palm pressing prayer. All right, press your elbows into the knees and the knees into the elbows, and just stay here for a moment. And then lift up both your heels, but keep the toes on the ground. Squeeze. Breathe in and out. And then exhale, lower the heels down. Let's do that 2 more times. This really helps us to get that nice stretch. Last one. All right. And then we're going to take our right arm, because our elbows are already on the inside of our legs. This is a great opportunity to do our side stretch. So keep the hand wrapped, we'll take the hand and wrap it around the right ankle. Take the left arm and lift it up. Try to keep your sits bone on the ground. If you have to adjust your legs, do so. Look up and gaze up. And exhale, take that left hand, bring it down to the inside of the left leg. Right arm reaches up, look up, gaze up. Bring both hands back down to the ankles. Slowly start to walk, thumbing and palm pressing all the way up to your thighs. Keep the legs spread apart. And just pause here for a second so you can get back up and gather yourself. And then you're going to press the belly forward and then pull back. Press the belly forward and then pull back. 2 more. And 1 more. Keep the hands there because we're right in that position. So we have all this going on. We want to really stretch out that sacrum part of our back body. We're going to take our right shoulder, and I just want you to wiggle it. So remember the hokey pokey? When you put one in and you take it out, that's what you're going to think about. So here's the right shoulder, and you just start to wiggle it, and then you put it into the pot. And you go straight down the middle. The right arm stretches out. It presses into the inside of that right thigh. And if you want to see what it looks like on the left side, the elbow is just kind of bent and the hand is still on the left thigh, but it's not really doing anything. It's just there for support, okay? So you're pressing in and you're using that hand and just pressing into the leg, and the leg is pressing back into the hands. Shoulders down the mid part of the body, and really think about stretching the spine area, that sacrum star area where the lowest part of the spine is. Breathe in and breathe out. Come up. We're going to just roll that shoulder up and away and take a breath. And we're going to do the left side. So wiggle that left side, kind of place it in and out so you get that motion going, and then bring it all the way down. Take that left hand, pressing into the left thigh. There we go. And just staying here for a moment. Pressing into the thigh. Come back up. Beautiful. Toe heel the feet together. All right. And then take your legs, kind of roll them over to the left side and then to the right. If you want to go even a little bit further, you can. Holding on to the chair. We're still on the chair, just so you know, so you can see. All right. And the other side. All right. Only go as far as you can go. So I kind of did all the ranges. So you go right to where it feels comfortable and come back up to center. Arms rise, reach up, lift up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press your feet into the ground, half lift, flat back. Stay here, right? This is the next phase. We're going to stay here for a moment. like we're running, we're taking off, we're charging to the race. Roll those shoulders away from the ear, sit up a little bit taller. And I want you this time to bring your hands out in front of you and just hold this pose. This is technically our chair pose, but we're sitting in the chair. So you can stay just like this, breathe in and out. You still have to use those ab muscles, wrap them around the body, then bring the hands back behind you and come down. Belly presses towards the thigh. Resting the back, resting from the pose. And then inhale, come back up, back into your half lift, flat back. We're again taking off, we're running, but this time I want you to take those hands, interlace the fingers. If you want to just keep them here, you can, pressing them on your back body, or you can lift them out and away. Now there's a whole range in here. You do not have to do it all the way up. You can just pull down like we did when we first started class, but find your zone of comfort. Undo the arms, coming back into that parallel position. Press the belly back towards the thighs. Stay here for a moment. Breathe in and breathe out. Press your feet into the ground. Squeeze the core. We just did all that work. Come up, lift up, hands overhead, mountain pose. And then hands come down by the sides. Beautiful. See what time it is? All right, we're making great time. Let's do some twists in the spine. All right, you can bring your feet together, one nice long leg. Arms rise, reach up overhead. Twist your body looking over towards the right. Come back to center. Twist the body looking over towards the left. Come back to center. And then towards the right. And then bring the hands down to the outside of the right thigh. The right hand comes behind you on the chair, finds a home. And look over your right shoulder. We're going to hold this pose for a few breath cycles. So try to press your feet into the ground. If you feel like your legs are winding apart, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. But if you press your feet into the ground, squeeze the belly. It'll help you keep that leg together. Focus more on the breath. We're going to come back up to center and then pivot back. And we're going to come on to the left side. Bring the left hands down to the outside of the left thigh. Right hand comes across. The left hand is behind you. Gaze is over the shoulder. Breathe in and out, following the breath cycle, following the body as it receives the breath. Knowing here it's a little bit more choppy at times, and that's okay. Let the body kind of press forward and back to kind of open up in its own time. No need to force. Bring the hands up, reach up, overhead, come back to center. Hands come together, hands to heart center. All right, take that left elbow. I want you to wiggle the left elbow. Lift up through the pelvic bowl so you have a nice, strong body. And then take that elbow, and you have 3 spots that we can put this elbow. So left elbow to the left thigh, right? Left elbow to the right thigh. Or left elbow hooks over the right thigh and gazes up. Breathe in and out. Any of those options will work. We're going to pivot up, coming up through, still looking to the right side, lifting up through the pelvic bowl, pivoting back to the center, pausing for a second. Notice the way your right side feels and your left. Take that right elbow, you can wiggle the right elbow, and then bring the right elbow down. We can start on the right elbow to the right thigh, right elbow to the left thigh, or right elbow hooks over. All right? Wherever you are is fine. Come back up to center. Hands come back in once again. All right, arms rise, reach up, lift up, overhead, toe heel the feet apart so that the legs are about hips width apart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise. And then exhale, hands come down and they wrap around the right leg, right around the right knee. Now, you can keep the toe on the ground if you need to, that's fine. But I want to first give an opportunity to show what we're going to do the full pose, okay? So we're going to bring that right knee up and then back down, keeping our hands cuffed around the knee, squeezing the belly to help us lift up the thigh, lowering back down into the hands. So you're just basically resisting the gravity, and then when you let go, gravity is, kind of just taking over. Last one. But this time, keep the knee up, keep it up towards the inner arm. And if you can, place the foot on top of the other thigh, the opposite thigh. All right. We're just going to kind of roll back and forth gently. And when I say gentle, your hip could be on fire. Now, if you find that you're super, super tense and it looks like this, that's fine. Just kind of roll back, but keep your hands on your knee. Okay. We're going to take the arms, lift it up, reach it up overhead, look over towards the right side, and then bring your hands to the outside of that leg. Right hand comes behind you for support, and then look over. So now if you're in the modified position and your knee is all the way up, you're welcome to just hold on to your knee and do this, right? Now, if you can't get your leg up at all, for everybody that's in the pose, stay in the pose, okay? You're just going to keep your foot on the ground and come back into that pose that we did when we were just with both feet on the ground looking over our shoulder, okay? So that's your option if you find that it's just a little bit too much for you. And I understand. It is sometimes just too much for anybody, depending on how you feel that day. And just use the breath as a guide to help you fall into the twist a little bit more. Bring both hands up, reach them up overhead, come back to center, and then bring your hands onto the leg that's resting on top of the thigh. And bring the knee then up towards the inner arm and then rotate the ankle a few times. And gently, steady on your exhale, place the foot on the right side back down to the ground. We're going to do a flow before we go on to the other side. So arms rise, reach up, lift up, overhead. Yeah, there we go. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise, reach up, and then bring the hands towards that towards the left leg, guys. And we're going to wrap our fingertips around the knee, lift up on that leg. Now, if you can't, remember, here's where your space is to start, where the toe is on the ground. But if you can, just hold and cradle that knee or that leg. Gently squeeze the core and then bring that knee up towards the inner arm. And then on the exhale, let gravity just sink the knee into your fingertips. Inhale, squeezing in. Exhale, back. Breathing in and then down. And beautiful. Bring the foot back down to the ground. All right, great. Oh yeah, almost forgot we're gonna do the other side. Come back up. Bring the hand around. Bring the knee up towards the inner arm. Then we're gonna place it on top of the right thigh. Sorry about that, guys. I relaxed myself a little bit too much. So I'm gonna start out for everybody that's doing this pose. We're gonna just kind of lean forward and back. Remember, if you can't get the leg up or if your knee looks like this, that's fine. You can still do the motions. And for those who can't get the leg up, just keep your legs hips width apart and put your hands in that same position on your thighs to rock back and forth. And what this just does is loosen up our hip body. Okay, loosen up our joints a little bit, kind of lubricates them. All right, it also helps us to just gather a temperature of how we feel here. All right, arms rise, pivot over towards the left, bring both hands to the outside of the left side of the body, the outside of the left leg. Left hand comes behind you, right hand is crossed over, we're looking over. All right, now if you're in this position with your knee up, this is what it looks like. Or if you can't do it at all, it just looks like this. We're coming back to that old pose. All right. There's always modifications. And just breathe. All right, we're going to bring our hands up, come back to center. All right. Wrap our hands around the knee. And bring the knee back up towards the inner arm and just rotate. And then gently place the foot back down on the ground. Arms rise, reach up, lift up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands come down by the side. And we're going to get ready to come to our standing portion of the class. So come up, come to standing. How we're doing on time. We are okay. Now I'm going to start out with just coming to the side of my chair, just so I think it's easier for you to see me. You can come to the side of your chair, or you need two hands, you can come behind it. All right. And right now we're starting on the right side. All right. And I just want you, if you're holding onto a chair, that's fine. I just want you to kind of wobble back and forth, soften the knees a little bit. So softening the knees, you'll see I have no rigidity here. I think it's so important to soften the knees. I am so big on that. So we're just kind of getting a feel for how we feel, catching our balance, noticing the way our body is just adjusting from sitting in a chair for about 40 minutes to coming into the standing pose. So we need to give ourselves just a little opportunity to transition. All right. And we're going to start off by leaning on to the right side. So we have our hand on that chair, lifting up the left leg just a little bit. And this is sort of like a Pilates pose. We're holding it, knee is soft. Gently allow the left foot to come to a hovering position. This is going to help with balance going forward, not just for this class, but in everyday life. Do about 4 of these in all, matching the breath to the movement. Squeezing the belly, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the thighs. Notice all the parts of the body that are engaged to do this in a way that really serves and does you justice. And then put the foot back down. We're going to bring the left foot forward and then kind of swing it back behind us. Sorry, I have to come a little bit forward. All right, if you want to place your left hand on the belly, you can feel the belly muscles kind of activate and engage. Now, you don't have to go very far. If you just want to tick-tock a little bit, that's fine. All right, shake out the right leg. All right, we're going to lift up the knee and then back down. You know, if you want to go a little bit, you can. If you want to go higher, you can. Doesn't matter. Just about 3 or 4. All right, beautiful. Let's come on to the other side. Again, if you're behind your chair, you can just pick up from where we are, but otherwise, if you want to do a little bit more leaning and really put your weight into the other side, you can bring the chair to your left. All right. Again, notice the way your body is transitioning. You just did all this work and your right leg kind of bared the burden of your left. So now we're going to give your right leg kind of a break. Left knee should be soft. Okay. Make sure that the feet are completely flat on the ground. Gently, we're going to lift up on the right foot. All right. The left hand is on the chair. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs, squeeze the belly as you lift up. Gently allow the foot to come back to hovering. Breathe in and out. I see you guys are doing great. Good job. Slow and steady wins the race. And on the last one, say like the fourth one, bring the foot back down to the ground gently. Then we're going to bring the right foot forward and then swing it back like a tick-tock. Belly, if you want, place that hand on the belly. You'll feel it. You'll notice that it's not just your leg that's moving, but your belly that does a lot of the mechanics. So a strong belly equals a strong lower body. And when you squeeze those glutes, you'll notice that you're also activating your sits bone, which you can feel go all the way up to your spine and down your hamstrings because it's all connected. All right, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so let's come into our sequence, our warrior sequence. We're starting out with our downward facing dog, so come behind your chair if you're not there already. All right, you can stay on the top rung of the chair or you can bring your hands to the bottom, okay? I'm gonna start out with the top and I'm just bring my legs back. Bring your hands onto the top of the chair. Soften the knees and just rest your head. If you have your hands down onto the bottom rung of the chair, you can just kind of stand like this. Hands are extended out, head is kind of just held in the air, so there's no chair to support your head. If you want to add in a couple of lifts, right, like you're walking your dog, you're welcome to do that. Wagging your tail, if you want to rotate the ankle, not the ankles, the hips, you can do that as well. All right, bend the knees a couple times of your hands. It is what it looks like if you're up here. Same thing. All right, we're going to stretch out completely now. We're going to come into what's like a cat-cow before we go into our short warrior sequence. Soften the knees, right? So knees are soft, chin is into the chest. Extend out the arms. Make sure the hands are on the chair for safety. Your belly is going to protrude down and then take your head and look up. Can't go very far with the gaze, but it does the justice for the stretch. And then reverse. Press the belly in, navel kind of brings up itself towards the spine, the back body kind of domes towards the ceiling. Then reverse, cow, and scare cat. 2 more. Don't overstretch. Keep the knees as soft as you need them. Last one. All right. Now you can go back into that wiggling around with your hips to get that final cracks out the back body. And you're going to start to walk up, but you can keep your head kind of facing down until you get back up to your chair, belly, chest, and then head. And then you bring your gaze up. All right, we're gonna take our left foot, wiggle the left foot, and bring it back behind us. The right foot is gonna stay by the chair. Now, our left foot is about a 45-degree angle, okay? So it's not straight and in line with the chair, but it's just a little bit tilted. Sit a little bit low into your lunge. Now, you can have a range. So if you want to be super close like this, that's fine. If you want to extend out and be all wide and in warrior, you can do that too. I'm going somewhere in between. Your choice. Keep your hands on the chair if you like, or and this time, if you know how to do the warrior and you know what you feel comfortable with, you can put your hands into a place that works for you. So some people it might look like this. Some people might be one hand, and some might be two. Okay, I'm gonna do it right now with one hand up. My right hand is on the chair. Squeeze the inside of your thighs. Nice strong thighs. And on the exhale, open up into warrior two. Nice strong warrior, but look over your right shoulder. Sit a little bit lower into your lunge if you can. We're going to bring our shoulder towards the chair, and then we're going to pull away and bring our hand down the thigh. Look up, gaze up, reverse warrior. Come back into warrior two. And then come and pivot back into warrior one. Both hands come onto the chair. Take your time and come into your downward facing dog. If you want to walk it out, you can. If you just want to come in and feel the stretch, you're welcome to do that. Find your space on the chair and breathe. Slowly, we're going to walk our bodies back up to the chair. This time, our left foot is going to stay forward. Right foot is going to come behind us at a 45-degree angle. All right. We're going to keep our gaze forward. Sit a little bit lower into the lunge. Again, you can place your hands anywhere you like. If you want both on the chair, you can do that. I'm going to lift up on my right arm, keep my left hand down. This is just a preference to show you guys. Squeeze like you got a ball in between your legs so that you lift up a little bit more through the glutes, through the mid part of the body, rib cage up to the chest. And then on the exhale, we're going to open up into a warrior two. Look over your shoulder, making sure that you're looking over your arm on the left side. So your shoulder, your hands, and your left leg are all by the chair. And you're looking over the chair while the right hand is behind you. Slowly, we're going to bring the shoulder down towards the chair and then pull back. Right hands onto the thigh. Gaze is up. Reverse warrior. Come back into center, back into warrior two, back into warrior one. Both hands come back onto the chair and come into your last downward dog. Slowly, we're going to rise back up. Coming closer to our chair, belly, chest, and then head. All right, let's see how we are here for time. We're going to come back into our chair. Take your time, come back around into a seated position. All right, you can sit with your legs, hips width apart if you're comfy like that, but we're going to come into Savasana. Notice the way the body feels coming from standing into this seated position. Close the eyes. If there's any last poses that you'd like to do, you're welcome to do them now. Otherwise, just feel the full body. And this is what you came for. You've earned it. And there's nothing else you have to do to earn the breath that is associated with this victory. If at any point that you feel like you're not enough, know that you are enough. Each time you breathe in and out, that is the confidence, and that is the solidification that you are enough. As each breath supports you, you are here, alive in the present moment, and that is enough. Continue to let go of any final things that might be clouding the mind, and see if we can replace it with a sense of gratitude. Finding something that we appreciate, that we got out of our practice today, we got out of ourselves in this room, or even just something in life that we feel grateful for, and bringing that here right now into our space. Just allow yourself to be in Savasana. I will ring the bowl when it's time to close class. When you're ready, you can start to reconnect to the world around you by pressing your feet into the ground, wiggling your hands and fingers, being intentional with a few breaths, and opening your eyes to the world around you. With a sense of gratitude, I thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day, and namaste. Thank you.